Hello everyone, my name is Olivia Savage and I am the Director of Product Marketing here at Newswire. Welcome to today's Smart Start educational video on sponsored content. Sponsored content is a really unique, seamless way to market your brand and company in a way that provides a little additional value to the end user. Here today to talk about sponsored content in more detail is my colleague, Maria Marhefka. Welcome back, Maria. How are you?
Hi, Olivia. I'm doing great. And like you said, today we're going to be talking about sponsored content.
All right, so before we can dig into the mechanics of sponsored content, let's first define what it is.
So sponsored content refers to any form of promotional content that's paid for by a sponsor, which would be a brand, but it's created and distributed by another brand or publisher. Now, the goal is to have a company seamlessly infuse their name, their product, and or service into the content to provide the end user with value. Now, when done correctly, it can really strengthen a brand's authority and their credibility and build a level of trust that's necessary for long-term success in the market. Nielsen reports that marketers who sponsor content from a notable and trustworthy publisher see a 50% higher brand lift than marketers who create their own content. So 50% higher, that's pretty impressive.
And that's definitely something that small and mid-sized businesses should keep in mind. So with that said, can you give us some examples of some sponsored content?
Sponsored content can be created through a variety of formats and channels. And these can include articles, carousel ads, infographics, listicles, photos, podcasts, social media stories, videos, and more.
Yes, those are all excellent examples. And just to add to that a little bit, one thing that I've done in the past is a sponsored article with a reputable local newspaper. Some people don't really understand the value of working with specific publications that really speak to your target audience or your demographic. So keep in the back of your mind that you could write an article that might even sound like a blog post, but you can work with a publisher or an outlet to actually sponsor or push that content and prioritize it a little bit so that you can get more eyeballs and a little bit more engagement, and you'd be really surprised by the results. So let's compare sponsored content with native advertising. There is a little bit of overlap there. So what are some of the defining features between these two?
So native advertising is paid media that mirrors a website's design, their style, their tone, and it covers a topic that's of interest to the website's target audience. When executed correctly, native advertising should blend so well that with the website's organic content that it's hard to spot the difference. Furthermore, native advertising is run on a pay-to-play model, and the content is meant to be educational, interesting, and targeted to the audience of the specific website. An added benefit of native ads is that they're delivered in stream, which means they typically don't disrupt the user experience, which is important whenever it comes to advertising. Now, sponsored content, on the other hand, is a form of native advertising as it's intended to match the form and function of the web page. The main difference is that sponsored content isn't a traditional ad and is typically a long-form piece of content. They're sometimes referred to as advertorials. Sponsored content, as mentioned before, is content that's sponsored by a brand. And this type of content is clearly marked as sponsored or promoted on the website. And it typically includes a call to action that prompts the reader to learn more about the product or service that's being promoted throughout the piece of content.
Yes, and I think a major piece of differentiating native and or sponsored content from traditional advertising is that seamless kind of, you can't even really tell that it's an advertisement kind of component to it. So maybe you receive an email newsletter, they're putting in articles there about a specific topic as pertains to the newsletter, and then they throw in there one or two links that are sponsored, and that provides whoever they're partnering with the opportunity to get a little bit more coverage, a little more eyeballs seeing their content, but it also provides that seamless experience. So it's not in your face advertising, it's much more subtle. All right, so since we're a press release distribution company, it might not be super obvious why this is relevant. So what is the connection between what we do at Newswire and sponsored content as a whole?
Though they're two separate marketing initiatives, press release distribution and sponsored content can work in tandem to deliver the right message to the right audience at the right time. And when writing press releases and planning sponsored content, You want to provide value to the end user and connect them in ways traditional advertisements don't. Every marketing strategy should begin with a plan, and our experts at Newswire act as an extension of our clients' teams to handle strategy and campaign execution without adding additional strain to a company's limited internal staff. By creating and implementing a plan that's based on overarching marketing goals, the content begins to become clear, and the value of consistent press release distribution and sponsored content lies in its ability to build brand awareness while positioning a company as an expert in their industry.
Very well said. It's critical that no matter what marketing initiatives you decide to implement, that there is a cohesive strategy and that you are incorporating or at least aware of all of the options available to you before you select the path that you want to take. If all of this feels kind of overwhelming and you're really not sure which options are the best fit for you and your goals, you can always find us on social media. You can drop a comment here below, or you can reach out to us at newswire.com. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.